Verse 319. Disjoined from causal agencies, removed from faulty theories, is the knowledge of self-realisation, which is the Mahayana, immovable and highest. In the last few verses, we've been looking in detail at enlightenment practice. Enlightenment practice is about coming back to simple awareness. This might not sound like much, but then we need to appreciate the nature of this awareness. And there are certain challenges to this. One is what presents itself to us, which we assume comes through our senses. We can just call this sensory perception, the perception of a physical world. This is one of the problems, this belief in the reality of this physical world. And this is what we can understand here as causal agencies. We have the belief that what's going on out there has been going on for quite a long time. It's all the result of various impersonal forces. That's a belief. We take it as a fact, but it actually doesn't bear up to scrutiny, even from a philosophical point of view. That belief must be questioned. The other challenging factor to realizing the true nature of our fundamental awareness is our moods and our thoughts. Our moods affect our thoughts, and our thoughts reinforce our moods. These thoughts are what are described here as faulty theories. They are ideas we have about things. They're ideas that we have about this faulty understanding, about this assumed belief in an external world. We have the belief that there's that external world there. We have a belief in ourselves as individuals reacting to that external world. And we have our moods, which we'll justify in terms of what's going on out there. If things don't go my way, I throw a tantrum. I really do. So this is the challenge. At some point, it's quite possible you had an enlightenment event in your life, just as the Buddha did when he was a teenager, before he was the Buddha, sitting under the rose apple tree, watching his father in the field. He only realized it was an enlightenment event in retrospect, when he was sitting under the Bodhi tree in his early 30s. He saw that event that occurred when he was a teenager as the key to enlightenment. I suspect many people have had such events, but perhaps not appreciated them. Although in my own case, I remember the event quite specifically. I can't remember when it was quite a long time ago though. I was reading Douglas Harding's book on having no head, and the penny seemed to drop And I thought, no, it can't be. Yes, it seems to be, but no, it can't be. This is it. Of course it is. He's right. I can see it for myself. I just read the first couple of pages of Douglas Harding's book on having no head. And I had to put it to the test. One of the feelings was that it was as if a great burden that I didn't know I'd been carrying had been put down. There was a great sense of relief. The second thing was all these esoteric wisdom texts from India and China suddenly started making sense. And thirdly, I could see there was nothing beyond this. That this was the immovable and highest. It's not possible for there to be anything beyond this. This is the fundamental. This very awareness that we're using all the time, which we take completely for granted to the point that we overlook it and might even deny its existence. But I could see that this was the immovable and the highest. This was the knowledge of self-realisation, which is the Mahayana, immovable and highest.